Hello again, I'm back. Yes, I seem to say that all the time. Every time I start a new video, don't I? I'll have to stop it. It's getting too much of a habit. But that's all about change, isn't it? Breaking habits. Sorry. Anyway, as I said in my last video, I'll continue on the theme of questions from my PM versus CM for PMI chapter sessions. And this one again was from my most recent session for the PMI Hong Kong chapter. Becky Chow, who's a senior project manager at JLL in Hong Kong, asked this question: when is a good time to appoint the change manager, before or after the project manager appointment? Short and sweet, unlike my answers, which tend to drone on a bit, I think, sometimes, don't they? Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you a story. So are you sitting comfortably? If you are, I'll begin. Once upon a time, there was an organisation who were implementing some new cutting-edge technology to help them improve the service they give to their customers. A project manager was appointed and all essential project documentation was completed and signed off. Things like the business case, the project charter, the project initiation document and the project management plan. All of those and then some. The project plan was created, the project RAID log was built, the project budget tracker was put in place, and the project resource plan was built. Wow, all of those lovely documents all ready for the project to go. Great. All done, all signed off. So away they went, and the project kicked off. Great. However, after some time, things started to go wrong and the project was not going so well. Milestones kept on slipping for a number of reasons, and more issues and risks were being raised, causing many headaches and much soul searching. As a result, the project steering board convened an emergency meeting and undertook a critical review of what was actually going wrong. The discussions were all about plans, deliverables, milestones, quality, budgets, and all that other important project stuff. The assigned project manager was grilled to the nth degree about these matters and answered them as best they could. During these deliberations, there were two words that kept on cropping up. The two words were change and people. You don't say. Again, yes. Now, no one really seized on this until they reviewed the issues and risks log, which contained things like there was no visibility and noticeable involvement from the designated project sponsor. There was little or no involvement of stakeholders in the project. Communications was fragmented and people didn't know what exactly was going on. Customers hadn't been communicated with about how the new solution would impact them. There had been no business readiness for go live. Oh my goodness me. Sounds like a normal story for me, to be honest, but let me carry on. Suddenly, there was a light bulb moment when everybody realised that all this stuff was change management related, and they had underestimated the vast amount of disruption that this project was creating in moving from the old ways of working, and consequently the impact on their operational people by the new ways of working. Well, blow me down with a feather. You don't say. Again, sounds very familiar to me. The collective phrase was, oh shh, sorry, no swearing on this channel. The conversation then eventually got round to the fact that with all this change that's going on, they should have employed a change manager. No, not necessarily me, but a change manager right at the very beginning when they were putting all those lovely documents together. To try and rectify this, the steering board decided to put out a call for one, which some poor soul answered, and a change manager was recruited who, in the eyes of the steering board, became the project saviour. The change manager immediately had to go into firefighting mode and do what, when, where, who with and how as best they could. This was actually a very big deal because remember, the change manager had no input into any of the initial project documentation, the project scope and delivery schedules. So they were continually chasing their tail, desperately trying to put right what had gone wrong before, or trying to implement things that should have been done right at the very beginning. Anyway, to cut a long story short, sorry, Spandau Ballet that was. To cut a long story short, they went live but had some issues to deal with post-go live related to things like usage, adoption and training, to name but a few. So my question is, how do you avoid this kind of situation in the future? Well, I sort of alluded to it earlier. The simple answer is you bring a change manager in up front at the same time as the project manager. Excuse me a moment. And guess what? There's a few others that support my view. Going back a few years, ProSci asked over 600 practitioners what they would do differently on their next change management project. The top answer came back as start the process sooner, and the best time to start change management was during the initiation phase of a proposed change. From a paper presented at the PMI Global Congress in 2013 called Integration of Project and Change Management, it says the change management of a project must start in the period of project initiation and, incidentally, continue after the project closure. Then, from a December 2020 article called Change Management Trends to Watch in 2021 by the Director of Program Management for a company called Logic 2020, it says the earlier change management can be rolled into project planning, the greater the project's overall chances of success are, especially in our current environment where the pace and the volume of the change requires special consideration. An early start enables the change management team to build some flexibility into their scheduling. Remember, starting later means employees are less likely to embrace the change if management of it begins halfway through. It's expensive to try and play catch up later on. These issues can be oh so painful, and they're worth avoiding if you possibly can. So, just to highlight a few of the benefits of bringing in a change manager at the same time as a project manager, they can design a communications plan that describes the need for change. They can assess the level of resistance in the organisation and exactly where it's coming from and try and do something about it. They can invite key stakeholders to be part of the solution. They can draft a flexible preliminary change management plan. They can ensure that change management is built into the project management plan. They can gain early support from the change sponsor. What say you? Do you agree or don't you agree? Just before I finish, I have another video which may help. It's number 8 in the series, and it answers the question for companies that focus on project management. How do you convince them that they should adopt change management as well? My most popular video, that one. I wonder why. Thank you very much. See you again soon.